What's your name?
Right. Brian Bost,
And you're from
Denver, Colorado.
26.
I started it earlier in 2026.
Awesome. What was the scariest thing about starting a practice?
Feeling like I didn't even know where to start and not even knowing who I could trust in the space.
Okay, was it more business concerns?
Lots of business concerns, especially having never done any of this work before, especially starting a business or understanding the needs. It felt really overwhelming. I used an initial attorney and had a different experience with that, and so changed directions and then ended up using functional medicine. Functional lawyer. You can edit it, right? Can we do it again?
Let's try.
Right.
I ended up using functional.
Yeah. Yeah, I started with an initial attorney, which was not a good fit for what I needed or really embracing the model that I was looking for. So I actually ended up using the functional attorney.
So what was the experience with the other attorney?
I felt like there was an attempt to pigeon me hole into kind of a traditional DPC model, and I was working on some business ideas that were a little bit out of that. And I just felt that I was not being encouraged to do what I wanted to do in this space. And I felt like I was paying for a service that wasn't really embracing what I wanted to do.
So what was it that you wanted to do?
Wanted to really, as a hospitalist, create a model where I could work within the DPC space to take care of a more complex patient, but also look at some programs that are really missing in our society, like the transition of patients from the hospital to home. And I wanted that to be really a big part of my DPC practice.
Nice. And then so were you hesitant at all to work with functional lawyer?
You know, I had such a great initial conversation, and I think especially since there's a lot of operations within the functional medicine space, there was an understanding of what I wanted to bring business model-wise was actually really doable, and after our initial conversation, I knew that this was the direction I wanted to go.
Great. What has your experience been at functional lawyer so far?
Fantastic. I like the one-on-one initial call, really let me get to know Scott, let him get to know my business model. I like the office hours. I've watched some of the recordings, and I think there were things I would have never even thought of, such as what should my website look like? What does a patient consent look like for giving a Google review? And so I feel like I've learned a lot more about how to protect myself and my interests in ways that wasn't just I'm your lawyer, here's your consent process. It's been the whole process from start to finish, and I've learned so much more that I didn't even know I was missing.
What would you say to somebody who's on the fence about thinking about functional lawyer?
I mean, I think as physicians, we are kind of naturally risk averse, but we also, if we've not operated in this space, this is an investment in our practice and our happiness. And I think that the investment into the functional lawyer is fantastic to make sure that you are operating within laws and your legal capacity, not putting yourself at risk. So, that they say an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure.
Thanks, Brian. Anything else that you should have us know? Where can we find you?
You can find me in Denver, Colorado, B2 Direct Care.
Amazing. Thanks so much.
You bet.